You are never going to believe what just happened. Look. As you know, I've lived on this block forever, ever, right? Like 25 years at this point, 22 years, something like that, a really long time. The lady who lives across the street has lived on this block for 65 years. Yes, her entire life. She was just telling me today, right? So I was asking her, did you see the baby? And she was like, girl, did I see the baby? I don't even know if I told you about the baby. Let me give you a little bit of history. You know I have these neighbors that live next door. The lady who used to live in that house lived in that house for 40 years. 40 years. And then she got sick and she had to move to Brooklyn, poor thing. So, okay, or Queens. Something. She had to move over into the city. Now, she liked it here in the suburbs, but she had to move to, Kew Gardens or wherever they put the old people child. I don't know. That's where her family is. And I felt real bad for her. Okay, so now a house is up for sale. Those of us who have been on the block for a long time was like, who's going to buy this house? I don't, Do we get to screen them? But since there's no HOA, the answer to that is no. If they could come up with the money, they could buy the house. So this family came up with the money, and as soon as they moved in, I went over with a pound cake. Oh yes, my mama's pound cake. So I could get a look and see who was moving in. Okay. So it looked like a lady and her husband and a couple of kids. Oh, that's so lovely. Okay, they had people working on the house and stuff. Now, Brenda, who used to live there, had all those gorgeous flowers. First thing they did was rip out all Miss Brenda's flowers. Okay, I was not sure what kind of people these were that would rip out Miss Brenda's flowers, but it is, after all, their house, and I guess they could do with it. Then they painted it a different color. Now, the color was not bad, but they did a sloppy painting job, and I was like, now here goes the neighborhood. We have lived here at peace and tranquility for all these years, and now here comes these people painting the house an okay color, but a sloppy paint job. But a sloppy paint job, I can forgive. Then the other stuff started happening, right? They got this little dog that roams up and down the street. And then last week, their baby got out of the house. Baby, like 2.5 years old. But the child has like some sort of disability and is nonverbal. So a special needs toddler is just roaming up and down the street, walked straight into my front door and came into my kitchen. I wish I was making this up. And I was like, So I was saying to, the block captain, the lady who lived here for 65 years, I said, did you see the baby? She said, honey, did I see the baby? I was sitting in my front window watching that baby walking down the street, thinking to myself, I'm sure the mama's going to come out and get the baby. Did the mama come out and get the baby? No. She said, and I saw the baby walk into your house. And I thought to myself, oh, what's she going to do with a spare baby? She got enough kids. And she said, and then I saw you. She said, you probably didn't see me because, I have my blinds drawn. I always keep them curtains closed. But her twitching arm is strong, honey. She twitches like nobody twitches, right? So she sees me walk the little baby right next door and put the baby back in the house. Now, I called for the mama and called for the mama. The mama never came to collect her child from me. The baby just dropped my hand and ran off into the house. Y'all, now, I was upset that the mother did not keep an eye on her child. What I was scandalized by was the doors, or lack thereof. Remember I said Brenda lived in that house before, honey? Brenda kept that house immaculate. Now, I don't know what they're doing over there, but some of the doors, in place of doors, they just had like big pieces of plastic with, duct tape around it. What the what? These people are trash. They are just trashy, okay? So I don't like these people. They got a feral baby. They got a feral dog. They don't keep the house nice. All Miss Brenda's flowers are gone. But ain't nothing I can do about that because that ain't none of my business. Well, word on the street is that the queen of the curtain twitchers might have called child welfare for the roaming baby. Now, I don't know if she called or she didn't call. But on the secret Facebook page that everybody on the block knows about, except for the new neighbors, one of the ladies from up the street was like, I have a girlfriend who works at child welfare who said that they was coming to check on something on our block this week. Why was child welfare on the block? And the queen curtain twitcher was like, and just sucked her teeth and kept it moving. And I was like, So this brings us to what happened today. I was just out on my deck, watering the flowers and, looking around. And I spy with my little eye a stranger. Now, I'm sure it was not a stranger to the people who live next door, but it was a stranger to me. A new person is living at their house. This person has been there for 2, maybe 3 nights in a row. So, I toddled myself out onto the front of the house and looked around. Oh, an out-of-state license plate. What is this out-of-state license plate? Maybe a relative is coming to visit. And then I was like, wait. They have a trailer set up out back that an old man was living in. Now it seems as though a young man is living in the trailer out back. What is going to happen to my property values? And can I call the town? And how can I get this stopped? These people, they are not fit to live on this block. But I'm a snob. I'm a snob. I'm not going to act like I'm not. I am absolutely a snob. Then I noticed that the man who was sitting next door, who was going in and out of the trailer, has set up like some sort of cooking apparatus on the deck. Not like a grill. I'm talking about a gas line and what looked like a flat top grill, like a whole cooking situation, basically an outdoor kitchen. Well, a lot of us have outdoor kitchens and that is quite lovely, but this is not like that. This is just like some random assorted pots and pans and stuff out in the backyard, outside his trailer, like he's camping. And if that was not bad enough, he was sitting in his backyard watching me watch him. Excuse me, sir. I have lived on this block for more than 20 years. I am the neighborhood watch. I am just watching around it to protect my property values and make sure don't nothing crazy go down. He, without blinking, didn't turn his head, didn't look at me at the side of his eye, sat in his yard smoking a cigarette, just watching me. The unmitigated gall. I called my husband. I said, baby, come out here and look at this. I'm pointing at the flowers. He walks out on the deck and he said, what? I said, you see that man watching us? He said, yeah, it looks like he's staring at you. Can I call the police as somebody watching me? Now, look, if you're going to watch the neighbors, have the common decency to curtain twitch, close your curtains and peek out. Should those blinds be broken? Yes, break your blinds if that's what you have to do. You just going to sit here and stare at me? Can I call the police? I wish I could call the police. Now, it is not illegal, obviously, to spy on your neighbors, but you should at least have the common decency to do it where I can't see. I ended up going back in the house and closing and locking my door and peeking out the curtains on that side of the house so I could see. And even after I went in the house, he sat there looking in the general direction of my house. I'm going to have to put up some new cameras, y'all. This man going to make me spend money. These trashy neighbors, I don't like it. I don't like these neighbors. They got an old washing machine out there in the back of their house. They got 2 or 3 broke down cars with covers on the side of the house. Weeds are growing up tall. Obviously, we are going to have to form an HOA or something. Or we could just take turns in the secret Facebook group that the new neighbors are not on. That's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to get on there and tell them, look, if anything happens to us, it was probably the watcher. The unmitigated gall. Some man sitting in his yard watching my house without peeking from behind a curtain. Rude. And listen, in this particular case, I saw him watching. I was watching him watch me. And you could tell him you heard it from me.